Hello everyone, Fed here, and welcome back to another redstone video. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to build my 2-wide hidden staircase that pops out from the wall. So when we click this button right here, the staircase will pop out of the wall, letting us walk up to our second floor. And then once we're up here, we can go ahead and close up the staircase behind us. So there it goes, retracting back into the wall. Now you can also make this thing as seamless, but then you have to get rid of one of the layers of the staircases. But all you really need to do is just change up a couple of blocks to make that work. So let's fly over here real quick. And here's what it looks like if it's a 1-wide seamless staircase. Now, if you want the 1-wide seamless staircase, I'll do the alterations to the build towards the end, but I'll also give you a heads up on where you need to put the wall and all that stuff, because some of the blocks change, but not a lot. So there it is, closing up again. So let's get started up on this tutorial. All right, guys, so for this build, you're going to need an 8x8 spacing, and you're also going to have to dig down 4. Now, that blue line is where your wall's going to be going, and also you can expand this thing out to 13. I'm just making mine 6, just like in my smaller version. And one more thing, right in front of this blue line right here, if you're going to be doing the seamless version, right here is where your wall is going to be. One line in front of this blue concrete. Now, the resources you're going to need for this build are 40 sticky pistons, 22 observers, 1 dispenser, 1 target block, 38 redstone repeaters, 2 redstone torches, 2 handfuls of redstone, a lever just to activate the build. I'm sure you're going to want to build the button at the end, 2 glass blocks, a stack of arrows. I recommend doing a lot more arrows in this thing, especially if you're going to be using it a lot. You're also going to need at least 18 staircases and a handful of the blocks that match your staircase's color. Now, if you're going to be doing the button, it is optional. You can just use a lever, but if you're going to be doing the button at the end, you're also going to need 3 droppers, 1 hopper, 1 redstone comparator, 4 redstone torches, and 2 buttons. And of course, just a couple of blocks to put your redstone down on. Now, if you're going to expand it out bigger than 6, you're going to need quite a few more sticky pistons, but we'll get to that later too, because it's just layer after layer after layer going up in a vertical motion. All right, guys, so once you've gathered up all your resources and you've dug out your area, we're going to come to the bottom left-hand corner right here, and we're going to count over 1 block, and then up 1 block, placing a block right here with a redstone torch off the side. Next up, place a piece of redstone off the side of that redstone torch. It should come on with a block up next to it with another piece of redstone. Then right above this, we're going to place in a sticky piston facing up. It will extend, and we're going to place an observer block facing towards us. Now, we'll worry about this later. This is for the closing sequence of the door. So right now, I just want to get the opening sequence in, and then we'll add in that closing sequence. Next up, right behind this extended sticky piston, we're going to come to this side, and off the part of the piston that is extended, we're going to place another sticky piston facing up with another observer block facing towards this one. So place it in. Both arrows on your observer blocks should be facing towards our wall. Then right behind this observer block, we're going to place a block. Come out 2 more, 1, 2, break this middle one, and place in another observer block facing towards the front. So all 3 arrows should be facing towards the front. Next up, right above this back observer block, place in a sticky piston and place in 2 more for our triple piston extension. Next up, we're going to come up 4 blocks from here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Break all 3 of these blocks and place a sticky piston facing down right here. And of course, it ain't one of my redstone builds unless I forget something in the resource list, so I'll make sure to add that later, but we're also going to need immovable objects. So right above this front sticky piston, we're going to place an obsidian block here, or any other block that can't be moved by piston, but obsidian's usually the easiest one to go with. Then right next to our immovable object, we're going to place in a staircase right here. And then 1 block away from our sticky piston, we're going to place another staircase right here. And then right underneath this staircase, in front of this observer block, we're going to place in a normal block. I usually go with, of course, the walling color we're going to be using for our stairs. So next up, let's get our input block in. This will activate the entire thing once everything is said and done. So right above this sticky piston, we're going to come up 3 blocks. So we already have 1 here. So 1, 2, 3. Place a sticky piston facing down off the backhand side with an observer block facing down off of it. Next up, we can go ahead and remove these blocks. And then you can also place a piece of redstone right here on top of your immovable object. Next up, just place a block on top of that redstone right here, and then 1 over to the left. Break this block, place a piece of redstone right here. It should be right next to our observer. And then we're going to take out a different color and place it right there. And this is going to activate the entire thing. This is your input block. So once everything is said and done, anything going to this block will activate the entire staircase. Next up, from your input block, just come out a block right here, break that block, place a repeater coming out of the block, so when I turn it on, that repeater comes on. And then we're going to go ahead and place a block up in front of it right here, a block down on top of this piston with a piece of redstone on top of it. So now when I flip down this lever, that piston should extend down. Next up, swing to the left-hand side, and coming out where this redstone is, we're going to place a glass block. Then coming out of that redstone right there, we're going to place a repeater, set it to 4 ticks delay, place a block up in front of that repeater with a redstone torch on top of it, place a block next to your redstone torch, then place a repeater coming out of this redstone torch, set to 1 tick delay, place a block here with a sticky piston facing up, it should extend up, and then place an observer block facing towards the front of your build. The arrow should be pointing that way. You can go ahead and break this block too, it's no longer needed. Then we're going to come out a couple of blocks this way, 1, 2, 3, like that. Placing in 4 repeaters right here, 3 repeaters right here, set to 4 ticks delay. We need this delay later on from when we're letting down these stairs right here. Next, just place a block right in front of that repeater, and we're also going to place a block down underneath it. Break this block right here, and place a piece of redstone right here, so that repeater will activate that sticky piston. Then we're going to place one more block over, with a piece of redstone right here on top of this block. Place another repeater coming out of that redstone, set to 4 ticks delay. Place another sticky piston facing down right here. With an observer block facing down off of that sticky piston, it will activate this redstone. Then we're going to come back up here and just place a piece of redstone right on top of this sticky piston. And we'll come back to this area later, because like I said, right now we're just going to do the opening sequence for the stairs when the stairs come out of the wall. But we're going to need to come back here for the closing sequence later on. Next up, we're just going to swing back down here to where our sticky pistons are. And we're going to place a block right on top of this sticky piston, with a repeater going into that redstone right in front of us on 2 ticks delay. Then we're going to place a block behind that repeater with a piece of redstone on top of it. A block up with a piece of redstone on top of that. So this 4 tick delay repeater right here will activate this 2 tick delay repeater. Then coming out of the redstone over here, we're going to come out 2 blocks, 1, 2, break that block, and place a repeater coming out of this redstone, set it to 2 ticks delay. Next up, place a block right in front of that 2 tick delay repeater, a block down, break this middle block, and place in a piece of redstone. Then coming out of the block with our redstone, we're going to come over a block, break this block right here, and we're going to place another repeater going towards our sticky piston right there, set it to 2 ticks delay with a block in front of it. And what this will do right here is there's a 2 tick delay repeater going down into this 2 tick, making it a 4 tick pulse, keeping this piston extended longer, so this one has enough time to retract the front sticky piston. Next up, we're going to come down here to where this observer block is and come out 1 block right here. And this will update it because we are going to be putting a repeater in front of it. So boom, it'll update the observer block and then go ahead and put that on 2 ticks delay. Then we're going to come 2 blocks over this way, 1, 2, break that block, and place a repeater going into this block, set it to 1 tick delay. Then we're going to come back over here to this redstone, and we're going to go up a block. Oop, make sure that's on 1 tick. I accidentally ticked it there. We're going to come up 1 block. We can't see that repeater anymore. And we're going to place in another repeater coming out of this redstone, going this way, and we're going to set that to 2 ticks delay. Then we're just going to place in a couple of blocks right here with some redstone on top of both of them, 1, 2. Come down a block, and coming out from this redstone block right here, well, redstone on top of a block, we're going to place a repeater going this way, set it to 4 ticks delay, block, and then redstone. Now, the reason we're setting it up like this is then so we can make the layers go all the way up and we don't have to add extra repeaters into every single layer. Next up, we're just going to come underneath where this block is and come out 2, 1, 2. And we're going to place redstone on top of both of these. And then going into this block that our 2 tick is down on, we're going to go ahead and place a repeater going into that block and set it to 1 tick delay. Then we're just going to bring a line of blocks right underneath this piston right here. So 1, 2, 3, break the block underneath the piston, place a piece of redstone on top of this block, and then another 1 tick delay repeater going into that sticky piston right there. So now this should be the full extension done and half of the closing sequence done. So when I flip down this lever, these pistons will push out these 2 staircases. And then when I flip it up, it should retract at least this staircase right here. It shouldn't retract this one. So let's go ahead and flip it down to make sure everything's working. So flip it down. As you see, it extended the 2 staircases all the way out of our wall. Our wall will be right here. And now when I flip it up, it should retract this staircase, but not this one yet because we haven't hooked up the bottom pistons down here yet. So flip it up and it should retract at least that staircase for now. Perfect. So now all we have to do is just add in our target block and our dispenser up here to activate this bottom area. So to get started on the rest of our retraction, we're going to come up here, and next to this observer block, we're going to come out 3 blocks. 1, 2, 3. Then place a piece of redstone down here to connect with that piston. Then we're going to place 2 repeaters going this way, set them both to 4 ticks delay. Then we're going to place up a block in front of it. And then right on this block, we're going to place our dispenser. Make sure it's a dispenser, not a dropper, facing down. Go ahead and break this block right here and place a piece of redstone right on top of that dispenser. Next up, we're going to come down to right here where our glass block is. Come out one block from that redstone, place a piece of redstone on top of it, and then go ahead and place your target block right on top of it. And also go inside your dispenser and put at least a stack of arrows in there for now. And then, of course, you can add more in later. And you can also even put a hopper next to it with a chest to put even more arrows in it. So basically, all we need to do now is just get the power from this target block down to this block right here that has our redstone torch on it. So what you're going to do is just come out a block from your target block, take out an observer block, and place an observer block facing down. Then we're going to place a block in front of our observer block as well. Break this top one, and then coming out of our target block, we're going to place a repeater on top of our observer block set to 1 tick delay. Next up, to the right of this block right here, we're going to place in a glass block, so block out and then a block down with a glass block, placing in a piece of redstone on top of it. Then we're just going to come down a block right here, a block over, a block underneath, and break the middle one right here next to that glass block, placing in 2 pieces of redstone on top of it. The reason why we have to be out here is just so we don't accidentally activate any of these sticky pistons. Then we're just going to come down right here with a block next to that repeater, and now just bring redstone all the way up in a nice little line to our redstone torch. So now the whole opening and closing sequence should be completely done now. So when I flip down my lever, it will open up my staircase, and now when I flip up the lever, it should retract the entire thing. And there you guys have it. It's completely retracted in. So now if I place a staircase right here, facing this way, like that, it will now make it look like there's no staircase there. And then all we have to do, just add in our walling blocks right next to it. And now it's completely hidden up. So I'll do it one more time. There it is extending out. And then when I flip it up, it will retract the entire thing back into the wall. Now, before we actually move on to expanding this thing out, this is completely optional, but if you intend to use this thing a lot, I recommend also putting in a lot more arrows into your dispenser. Like, just grab a ton of arrows and put it in. But what you can also do is you can take out a hopper and a chest. So let me get out a chest real quick. And then we also are going to need a hopper. But if you want to, you can put a hopper into the side of this dispenser right here like this, right next to that redstone torch. And then go ahead and just place in some chests like that. And then you can also add in a bunch of arrows to your chest like that. So now when you flip down the door and you actually use the thing, it will start funneling the arrows into your dispenser. That's just in case you think you're going to be using this thing a lot. If not, then you really only need to fill up one whole thing with the arrows and you'll be able to use this thing like 500 times without having to worry. So let me go ahead and just flip up the lever and retract my staircase back into the wall. All right, guys, so now it's time to start expanding it out. So the easiest way to start it off at first, because the only line that's really going to change is the first one, and then every single other line is going to be exactly the same. We're basically going to have to go up in a staircase motion with our sticky pistons. So let's first put in our first line of sticky pistons like that. One line up from the other one, so we get that staircase motion going up. And then what we're going to do is just place in all these same sticky pistons right here and right here. These two we do not have to redo at all. So all you have to do is just follow along with how this looks down here and this one right here. These all stay the same throughout the whole entire build while we're extending it out. So just like down here, we have an observer block facing towards the front with a block in front of it. Then we have another observer block with a sticky piston on top of it. So sticky piston facing up right here with an observer block facing towards the front. And then, of course, down here, we're going to have our sticky piston right down here with our observer block facing towards the front. And if we just come up one more block like this and place a piece of redstone, it will extend it up. So it just matches the same exact one on this side right up here. And then last but not least, we're going to have a sticky piston facing down up here with our staircase in front of it. So staircase like that facing off the front. So actually, let's just put it up one more like that. There we go. And then we're going to need our removable object right on top of this sticky piston right here. So again, all we have to do is just match the redstone over here with over here. So I recommend starting from the bottom because you won't be able to see these ones later on. So we're just going to come out our 3 blocks here, break in this block, place a repeater going into this bottom sticky piston with a piece of redstone on top of it. And then next up, just place a block up right next to here with that repeater going into this observer block, set it to 2 ticks delay, and block up from here. block over, with a repeater going into this block, set to 1 tick delay, and it should hook up right next to that redstone. Next up, come up a block right next to the back of your sticky piston, with a repeater, set it to 2 ticks delay, with a block right here next to this redstone. Now, this is the only thing that changes on this entire thing on this first part, because we have to have this block right here, and this redstone is going to activate this one, but then we're actually going to have a line of redstone going up on top of this block right here to activate all the other 2 tick delay repeaters that are going into the back of that sticky piston. Next up, just place a block right up here on top of this back sticky piston with a piece of redstone. Block here with a 2 tick delay repeater going this way, and then redstone on top of that immovable object. It should hook down to that one. And then over here, we're going to come up a block on top of this sticky piston with a piece of redstone on top of this one as well. So now that should be actually the entire second layer completely done. So the layering part is actually the easiest part to do, because once you have everything in, it becomes pretty simple. So right in front of this observer block, we're going to place in our full block, and then place in our staircase sideways right here, like that. And then of course, we're going to have to put another staircase sideways like this, so we can't see any of the stairs. But now when I activate it, both of them should come out. Boom. Both stairs come out of the wall, and now both stairs should retract back in. And there you guys have it. So now we're going to layer it. Again, we're just going to do the same thing. You just got to follow this right along here, guys. It's the same exact thing. All you're doing is just bringing it up one block every single time. So instead of the sticky pistons being here now, we're going to come up a block like that. And then just, follow along. Rebuild the entire thing again. So observer block on the bottom, block in front of it, sticky piston facing up right here, observer block in front. Then right down here, we're going to place in another sticky piston with our observer block. Come up a block to go ahead and connect it. Placing in a piece of redstone. It should extend up. Place your removable object on top of this sticky piston here. Then right next to this block we just placed before, place a sticky piston facing down. And then our staircase is going to go right in front of that sticky piston right there. Then come up a block right here with a piece of redstone. And now it's time to do all the redstone on the backhand side over here. So just following along like we did before, right from this bottom sticky piston first, come out your 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3. Place your repeater going into it with redstone. It should connect down to that redstone there. Then we're going to place a block up in front of it with a 2 tick delay repeater going in front of this observer block. Then a block up, block over, repeater, block here. Place your redstone. It should connect down to that redstone. Then we're just going to come up a block on top of this 1 tick delay repeater, a block in the back of this sticky piston with a repeater going into it, set it to 2 ticks delay, and then place redstone on top of that block. Same exact thing. Then right over here, we're going to come up a block on top of this back sticky piston with a piece of redstone, block, repeater coming out of it, set it to 2 ticks delay with a piece of redstone on top of this immovable object. And now that should be 3 layers done. So if I put my full block in front of my observer block, then I put my staircase right here, and then another one facing sideways so we can't see it. Flip down the lever. 3 stairs come out. Flip up the lever. 3 stairs will get retracted. So I'm going to go ahead and just speed up the video now. Guys, it's the same thing 3 more times. Same exact thing right here. 3 more times. Alright guys, and I'm back, and I just went ahead and did the rest of my layers. It's just the same thing over and over again. And of course, like I said at the beginning, you can make this thing go up to 13 blocks, but I'm just going to keep mine at 6. But now that we are completely done, all that's left to do is clean up the area, and then of course add in those buttons, and then I'll also show how to change it up to the seamless one as well. So first, let's go ahead, just clean up this wall a little bit just to make it look nice. So now it's time to add in our buttons. So we're going to come over here to where our input block is. We're going to break our lever, placing a block right next to it with a redstone comparator going into it. Next up, we're going to place a dropper facing up behind that comparator. Then we're going to place one facing towards the front of our build, one facing down outside of that dropper, and we're going to place a hopper going into the bottom one. It's just the same old hopper dropper T flip-flop that I've built plenty of times on my channel. Next up, we're going to go into the top dropper and place in one item. It really doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and just stick in one piece of redstone, and that will actually activate our staircase. And then we're going to place some redstone right on top of it. Now let's come down here and place in our button. So I want my button right here next to it like that, with my button right here. Now, of course, you can hide it. You can put it somewhere so no one can see it. You can make this thing completely hidden, so you're the only one who knows about it. So, like I said, this is the input up here, so anything that goes to that will activate it. But I'm just going to have mine right next to it. Then coming out of the block, right behind it, we're going to place a redstone torch, a block on top of the torch, a redstone torch on top of the block on top of the torch, redstone torch on top of the block, and one more time, block here, and then a redstone torch coming off the side of it. So you should have a line of 4 redstone torches, 1, 2, 3, 4, going up to here. Then we're just going to place a block right on top of this redstone comparator with a piece of redstone on top of it, and that will activate our entire thing. So if I click a button right here, it will retract our staircase back into the wall, and then if I click it again, it will extend it back out. Now we have to have a button up here. So right here is going to be where we're going to be walking around. So let's come out at least one more block from here. I don't want it to connect to any of this redstone, especially you want to make sure it comes out a little bit in case you want to maybe expand it later on anyway. So then right here, we're going to place in, I like to have mine at least 2 blocks up. So let's place it right here, 1 block away from our build, and then place in our button. So now what we have to do is just bring power from our button right here over to right here. So we can't come up right here because then this repeater will activate the redstone. So we're going to come up right next to our dropper and just go up in a line like that, bringing the blocks up until you get over your entire build. And now all we have to do is just bring the redstone all the way down to over here where our button is. So let's just come out a block from where our button is, come up right above your entire build, and then just wrap it right along. Make sure you go up above it. You don't want any of the redstone connecting to anything. And then just, bring it right down over here. There we go. And then let's hook the redstone to everything. And you also are going to need probably a repeater in here somewhere, especially if you expand it out. If you make this thing go up to 13, you're definitely going to need a repeater somewhere in there, because then you'll have way more than 15 blocks of redstone. But now if we click the button from up here, it will retract our staircase. So now we can go ahead and, clean up this a little bit more to make it look nice. And, also maybe place a couple more blocks here so you can't see anything. But that's it, guys. You are completely done with the 2x1. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that little change to it to make it so in case you want a 1 wide seamless one. Alright guys, so to get started up on our changes to make this thing a 1 wide seamless door, we're going to come right over here to our target block, because the only thing we need to change is the closing sequence. So we're going to come right here to our target block, and I'm going to be using pink for my changes to the seamless version. We're going to place a block right next to our target block with a repeater. Why do I have a redstone comparator? A repeater coming out of that target block right here. Set it to 4 ticks delay. Next up, place a block up in front of that repeater with a redstone torch. Then we're going to place 2 blocks down from right here, 1, 2, with some redstone on top of this block, and redstone on top of this block. And then we're going to take out our sticky piston, and right underneath this block right here, we're going to place a sticky piston facing down. It should extend out. And you know what? Let's change the color of this block as well. Next up, we're going to swing over here to where this 2-tick delay repeater is, and we're actually going to break this right here. And then we're going to place a block up in front of our 2-tick delay repeater now. Break this block. Place a block up behind our 4-tick delay repeater with some redstone on top of it. Then we're going to come underneath where that 2-tick delay repeater is, placing a block right here. And then a block down one more time, connecting the redstone down to here. And that's going to be the only changes you need to do to make this thing a 1 wide seamless door. So now when I click the button over here, we're gonna have to bring our wall out too. Just making sure we have to bring our wall out, and we're also gonna have to bring out the power a little bit for our buttons as well. But let's click the button. So now when the staircase extends out, it won't fully retract this staircase back into the wall. As you can see, the staircase will stay just like this, and that's exactly what we want. So now let's go ahead and just extend it out one more time, because now what we're going to do is change these stairs right here to stone brick. There we go. And now, right next to these stone bricks, we're going to go ahead and place in our staircases sideways off the tops of them. So place in your staircases sideways, just like that. Oh, one more. So now when I click the button and it retracts it back into the wall, it won't fully retract it back into the wall, making it seamless. So now we can go ahead and now clean it up, just like that. And now, actually, before we move this part, let's go ahead and remove this torch right here, because once we remove this block, it's going to break that torch right there. Boop, see, gone. So just place your block up here now with your button on top of it. And now we're going to go ahead and remove these blocks right here, and we're just going to build our torch ladder right here. So come out from the side of the block with your torch. Let's go ahead and, oh, where's my blue? Let's go ahead and just keep using blue. So block on top of that, redstone torch on top of the block like this. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then, you know, just bring this redstone out right here. One extra, just like that. So now it should work from here. So if I click the button, our one wide seamless one comes out. And then when I click the button again, it will retract back in. And now this one's a lot easier. All we have to do, you know, just come out a block, add some redstone right here, and then put the button there. And there you guys have it. There is the seamless one wide version completely done. But there you guys have it. That's how you build my 2 wide hidden staircase that pops out from the wall inside of Minecraft Bedrock. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned with my newest videos. All right, guys. Peace.